Hello and welcome to Property Investments UK. In today's video we're going to be looking at specifically what type of property investment strategies that we're seeing that are really making an impact in 2017 and beyond, and what we're going to be focusing on in our long-term property plans. So that's talking sort of 5, 10, 20 years plus. Now there's been lots of changes in property during the last sort of 12 months from a tax perspective, and then also from a legislation perspective. Now this impacts everybody in the chain, from developers through to landlords through to tenants, and it changes the dynamics and the fundamentals of what type of property investments are going to be working. So buy-to-let is still very much the cornerstone of our property strategy going forward. We have some good quality locations that we still have buy-to-let properties on, but we just try and compare and match that with high yielding opportunities and other types of opportunities that are going to kind of weather any potential storm from a tax or legislation perspective. Now when it comes to the government's kind of understanding of it, everything we've looked into, the people that we've spoken to, they are certainly making strides to set it up more for a corporate type owner or investor to be investing in wide stream property development sites, rather than what's currently the case where there's lots of individual properties owned by individual landlords. Maybe one landlord has a couple or a handful of properties rather than one large portfolio that has hundreds or thousands of them. There's a couple of reasons as to why that might be, but without getting too distracted on those particular elements, what I want to consider is, based on the changes, based on where we see tech and all of the types of housing requirements going in the next 5-10 years timeframe, what sort of strategies are we looking at today and also in the future to try and match that and to make sure our properties are performing very well over the long term. So the first thing is developments. Development sites where you're able to acquire one property on a particular site, or a whole site and develop out, depending on your type of strategy that you want to be involved in, I think are very valuable today. There's lots of growth happening in different areas of the market. There's lots of tenant demand that's very strong in lots of areas, and there's an increase in rental yields very often as well in those locations. Development's focus gives you the value and the potential to add value on those particular sites. So rather than buying an existing property, buying something that you can gain some initial value on. So maybe it's an off-plan site that you can purchase today at a discount. That inherently locks in some value on that project rather than an additional type of property. Those types of development sites are very valuable, I think, going forward because of how property prices and demand are potentially shifting. The second thing to consider is how the sharing economy is working. Now this is massive in a whole range of different industries, and it's coming disruptive as well for a lot of industries. If you think about maybe Airbnb for accommodation, how it affects the hotel market, also Uber for taxis. There's lots of different industries that are coming into a shared economy basis where people are wanting something that's low cost, affordable, easy to access, and housing is certainly one of those. So there's lots of different strategies now that have become more and more prominent in recent years. They have been available to invest in previously as well, but maybe not quite as mainstream. Things like HMOs, so houses of multiple occupation, things like serviced accommodation, providing short-term lets. Those types of strategies can give very high yielding returns while still investing in very good quality geographic locations. But the principle ultimately behind those, the sharing economy, I think is what's driving it. So anything that's potentially geared around the sharing economy, we are looking into for ourselves, for our own portfolios, and also working with clients on for their portfolios as well. But as of right now, 2017, HMOs are very strong, serviced accommodation is very strong. Anything that's potentially shared where you can increase some form of return on a particular property investment is performing very well. The third strategy that I'd say is worth considering as well is trying to match the traditional approach to property investing with a more modern approach. So if you consider quite mainstream vanilla buy-to-let type properties, they will always, I believe, be in demand from a tenant perspective. However, there are much easier ways to invest in those types of opportunities now than there were certainly even 5 years ago, but definitely 10, 20 years ago. So if your focus was on straightforward buy-to-let and you wanted to look at quite mainstream, quite vanilla type properties in good locations, but you maybe didn't have large deposits on day one to invest, or you didn't have the funds available right now, there are lots of other opportunities. Things like crowdfunding, for example, allows you to get access to a range of different developments, a range of different buy-to-let opportunities, where you can invest with the crowd a short amount of funds over a shorter time frame. So some buy-to-let projects might be a 3, 5, 10-year time frame for some investors, whereas crowdfunding can often be from 6 months up to usually maybe 3 or 5 years on average. So the time frame is shorter, The access to investing in those opportunities is easier, it's quicker, and also the amount of money that you have to invest is a lot smaller than what you might invest in a traditional type of bricks and mortar type investment. So hopefully that helps give some context in terms of how some, I suppose, modern improvements are coming into the housing market, what we're looking at for our own portfolio going forward, and some different strategies to maybe consider. Any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and look forward to catching up with you in the future. All the best, take care. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this content and you'd like to join our free online property training course, we've got a link for it on this page. And in there we cover a range of different property strategies to help you get started, either building a long-term property portfolio or creating cash flowing property business. We also look at ways to increase your return on investment with any of the properties you're maybe considering. And we also have a couple of cheat sheets and downloadable documents in there as well. Simply click on the link to join the free training course today.